Hello there. This is James, and you're watching OneRoyal, and it's live. In today's program, I want to talk about how maybe people were hoping for a certain friendship would pay off. Also, Trump does gets. I'll start again. Trump gets no kicks from champagne, and how this global trade war is really heating up. But before I get into all of that, don't forget these little videos are for educational purposes only, and in no way whatsoever should ever be taken as financial advice. I always suggest you do your own research, do your own due diligence, and of course, know the risks at hand before entering any trade. With that out of the way, let's get started. So yeah, I'm going slightly off topic because obviously over the last couple of videos, obviously it's a market related show. We talk about what's going in the markets, but for sake of, difference and being a little bit more, off the wall, I thought I'd talk about another little subject, because we're all talking about how the market is greatly being impacted by, this trade tariff, will he, won't he type thing. But there is other people who should be affected who, was in his close circle, who possibly thought being friends, they might have a golden ticket. Now, we all remember Trump's, big day when he got sworn in, and he was surrounded by very famous billionaires. 7 weeks later, they're not really celebrating. But anyway, let's wind the clocks back a little while. Let's wind it back a month or so. Because between Trump's election win and him being sworn in, the S&P hit an all-time high. In fact, I did a video on the S&P hitting an all-time high 2 weeks ago. Go check it out. And again, I did speak about maybe it getting vertigo. So anyway, check that out. As well as that, during this time, Bitcoin hit an all-time high. But as well as that, we had Amazon hit an all-time high, Alphabet, Meta, Tesla hit an all-time high. But reality bites now. Because those billionaires who were there on his big day as he got sworn in have lost the combined value of 209 billion. 209 billion. And here's just a few. First off, he hated him during his first term. He even banned him off Facebook. But different approach this time. Mark Zuckerberg. Since Meta hit its high, and to be fair, Meta is one of the only Mag 7, which is doing quite well this year. But between the high and now, he's lost 5 billion. Sergey Brin, Google co-founder, has lost 22 billion. Jeff Bezos, CEO of Amazon, has lost 29 billion. And get ready for the big one. Elon Musk has lost 148 billion. Now, that's not just down to Trump's trade war, obviously. That's often down to, in my opinion, Tesla was overpriced. This is just a side note. And, his popularity of his antics is obviously damaging the brand as well. But anyway, those are just a few. And I thought it'd be quite interesting looking at it slightly differently. That all those people who were there celebrating are now, they're not broke. So I'm not going to cry for them, because they've still got plenty of money. But it's just it's just interesting to see the number of billionaires who have lost so much money around this time. Anyway, let's go back to what's going on in the market. That was just a side note. Let's go back onto what's going on in the market. Well, basically, the trade war is really heating up now. We're getting a lot of tit for type action. Don't forget, beginning of this week, Trump started 25% tariffs on all steel and aluminium for all countries. And then, of course, a number of countries have retaliated, okay, such as the EU. They retaliated. They're going to do tariffs on 28 billion worth of US products. So that was one retaliation. But Trump is now threatening to retaliate himself to these EU tariffs on, especially on US alcohol, because some of the tariffs are on US alcohol, like bourbon and things like that. So he has said what he is threatening to do now, okay, is put 200% tariffs on European wine. So we are sort of facing a bit of a case. I mean, this is a proper trade war now, where shots are being fired at each other. You know, one country, well, America does this. One country retaliates with this, and then we get further retaliation. You're literally seeing shots go over the barrel at the moment. Over the bow, should I say. It's a reference to a ship. So you are really seeing this war escalating quite steadily and fast. Again, will he follow through with the 200% tariffs on European wine? It's questionable. Because don't forget, only a day or so ago, he threatened, because of Canadians' tariffs, he threatened to do 50% on Canadian steel and aluminium. 8 hours later, he changed his mind because they had come to some arrangements. So again, the market's double guessing here. This is the problem. There's so much uncertainty. Will he, won't he? Will he go through with it? Will he, won't go through with it? Or is this part of a bargaining technique to get basically what he wants, or what both parties want? It is, like I say, this is why the market is always constantly double guessing. And it's proven to be, you know, this is the uncertainty, you know, driving the market at the moment. I mean, we have had some reasonable news, good news. Well, for those who hope that the Fed's are going to do interest rate or lower interest rates, because obviously we had the US CPI yesterday, which came in lower than anticipated, but we've also had the PPI today. Okay, it was announced 0.0%. This is month on month versus 0.3% expected. Now, yesterday with the US CPI, we had a slight relief. But are we getting that on this? No, unfortunately not, because like I say, the US markets have opened lower. And we'll look at the markets in a minute. And here's the other thing. Here's the other thing which is influencing the market, really. For quite a long time, there's been a lot of investors and a lot of the market talk of being about buying the dips. Buying the dips, waiting for the market to come down, buying the dips. Now, those buy the dip calls are beginning to fade. They are beginning to fade. And, you know, it's all about this tariff uncertainty. You know, because realistically, what this tariff uncertainty, this whole thing has put an end to the strongest bull run since the internet, US bull run I'm talking about, since the internet bubble of the 1990s. If you go back from when the S&P hit an all-time high, again, I did a video on this 2 weeks ago. Go and watch it, and we can see, you know, what we discussed and where the market is now. It's down 10%. It's down 10%. However, there is something which is shining bright, and I'm going to pull this up in a minute. Okay, when I wrote this, prepared this broadcast today, I said the gold is closing in at an all-time high. I'm out of date. because it has indeed hit an all-time high. Let's bring it up right now so we can have a look at it. Here we go. Again, it wouldn't be a broadcast or wouldn't be one of my shows if I didn't talk about gold. Here we are. Excuse me. Got overexcited now. Here we are. Gold is now currently trading at $2,970. The previous high was around about 2,956. We hit a new all-time high on gold. So we're edging that ever closer to potentially hitting $3,000 an ounce. We still got a bit of a way to go. Potentially, it still potentially hit $3,000. Don't forget, UBS, JP Morgan have all predicted that it was going to be hitting around the 3,100, 3,200 level by the end of 2025. Of course, it's just a prediction, so they could get it wrong. But as we can see on a daily, though, putting it on a daily, again, a new fresh all-time high. Clearly, and we'll look at the market at the moment, which would make sense, but we are seeing a rush to safety on the back of this, clearly. So anyway, let's have a quick look at some other things. S&P 500 continues despite the slight relief yesterday. Yesterday was one of the first times it still closed negative, but it closed slightly higher than the previous trading day, continues to feel the pressure. Okay, we're only down 0.78% for the day, but we're still trading around 5,556 points, a fair bit away from the all-time high, in which it touched only back in February. NASDAQ, which enjoyed a bit of a better day yesterday, actually closed higher at 1.13%, really boosted by the tech stocks like Tesla had a comeback, NVIDIA did, Amazon did, which we'll look at those again, of course, in a minute. Not doing so well today. Remember, like I said, it closed around 1.13% today. Currently, as we are trading, it's down 1.20%. 1.20%. Let's have a look at those US tech stocks. Tesla, down for the day. Currently down 4.43%. So all the gains, slight gain back it made yesterday is currently, as it stands, is wiped it out. Meta, also again down, negative 3.42%. Microsoft, okay, down, but not dramatic, 0.49%. Amazon, down 1.73%. NVIDIA, slightly up, but still slightly in the red, plus 0.21%. Alphabet, down 1.81%. So that slight relief we had yesterday is totally gone now. Totally gone. You know, even though we had a slightly better producer price index, but again, like as soon as you get these little threats, like the threat about champagne, not just champagne, but EU wine, you know, it's going to go like that. It's going to be tit for tat. They're going to be doing this, and this is what's making the market so uncertain. Let's have a quick look at the currencies. Quickly, let's have a look at the euro dollar. Okay, slightly down today, but still holding in around the 1.08 level. And the British pound is still trading above the 129 level. Okay, so we're still benefiting from dollar weakness. And we have got some important information from the UK coming out tomorrow, which we'll discuss about. Let's have a look at the dollar yen as well. Again, okay, the dollar's had a slightly better 2 trading days, but today slightly lower against the yen, 147.81. This is an interesting pair, this, because I'm keeping a close eye on this, because I think Bank of Japan is one of the only central banks who potentially may increase interest rates this year. So it'd be interesting to see that development. Anyway, that's how the market stands. Like I say, again, it's open lower. This tariff uncertainty is really driving and putting pressure on it a lot. Other news I want to talk about. This is also not happening. not happening, not helping, sorry, shall I say. This is also not helping with all the uncertainty going on at the moment. This is also not helping. And that is a potential government shutdown again. Now, we've gone through this quite a fair bit. We've had these before. And I remember in Trump's first term before he got elected, he said he would never shut down the government in his term, but it did get shut down. And it looks like potentially we may have another US government shutdown again. Unless they pass a emergency funding bill tomorrow. So we're right up against it. It needs to be tomorrow. But here's the thing. This funding bill has been done by the Republicans. And the Democrats haven't really been sort of involved in it or brought into it. So the Democrats are, I'm not saying that they will, because we don't know for certain. We won't know till tomorrow. But the Democrats may not vote or pass this funding bill, which means, of course, the government will then shut down again. So you've got just all this uncertainty going on at the moment. So if you really think about it, tariff uncertainty, economic uncertainty, now government shutdown. It's, like I say, it's a really interesting time. You can see why the US markets are really, really struggling. Anyway, moving on to what's happening tomorrow. I did mention it. Obviously, we looked at the sterling on the cable. We only got really one bit of news tomorrow, which is obviously the UK GDP. Expectation is coming lower at 0.1%. Previous number was 0.4%. I do think it's going to be overshadowed, though, this event by everything else which is going on. So I really do think it's going to be, one of those things which will affect the sterling or the cable a bit, but I don't think it's going to be headline news. What will be headline news is what retaliations will be done now in this global trade war, and of course, the US government shutdown. Will it shut down or not? Don't forget, this is indeed a live show. So you can talk to me anytime you wish, or share with me your opinion. Let me know what you think, or say hi if you like, especially if you're watching me on YouTube. You can say hello and, because the whole point of these live shows, is to build a bit of a community, but really to talk and share ideas and talk about the stories driving the market. That's the whole point of these shows. So, and it's good to have a chat, talk, and I'm interested to know your thoughts on the matter. I mean, what do you think about gold, for example? I know I get very excited about gold because gold is my first love when it comes to trading. So I always get very excited about it. Let me know your thoughts on it. And they say Twitter as well. If you're watching me on Twitter, I don't think you can actually do comments on Twitter. But, here's the thing. If you're watching me on YouTube or Twitter, and maybe you're not even watching this live, because I know a lot of people go back and watch the recordings, by all means, put in the comments below the video your thoughts or your questions. And here's the thing. I will see it, and I will reply next time I go live on air, which of this is, of course, tomorrow. I'll be going live on air, probably a little bit earlier than today, to cover a couple of things. So I will be going live again tomorrow. Anywho, like I say, if you're watching me on YouTube and you like this sort of thing, subscribe if you like. Hit the notification button so you know next time we're going live. And if you enjoy this sort of content and you can put up with me, by all means, give me one of these. It's nice to know that you like what I do. And the same with if you're watching me on Twitter and you put up with me, you don't mind it. Give us, I think it's a heart. It's X, isn't it? I'm showing my age. Give me a little heart. Again, it's nice to know that you like what we try and do. Anyway, if there's no questions, No hellos, that's fine. Anyway, don't forget, these little videos are for educational purposes only, and in no way whatsoever should be taken as financial advice. I always suggest you do your own research, do your own due diligence, and of course, know the risks at hand before entering any trade. Till next time, every single one of you, trade safe.